Hey guys, I'm back for How to Get Away with Murder. I'll put all the info in the description / title. I know that I'm back to just doing it in this space, and I was loving doing it on my couch and watching it and doing a play by play because I didn't know what was going to happen. But y'all, everything just got kind of discombobulated when I got home. So I just decided that I'll just do it as soon as the episode ended. I'm a little frustrated, but because I did some recordings of it and I just wasn't happy with it. And I want to give y'all good content and I don't want to be like half assing it, honestly. So I'm just going to do it this way, do it right. So here we are. It starts off with Annalise in the classroom, with all the kids and everything, and the new case that they're supposed to be doing in its finals time. And the case that they have to be, the person they're defending is supposed to be Snow White. And she's been accused of killing her stepmother or whatever. Y'all know the story of Snow White or whatever. But I remember her getting murdered by but whatever. But in this case, it's like she's being accused of, I don't know, coercing or getting the seven dwarfs to kill her stepmother or some stuff, y'all. So that's what the finals thing is, and they have to figure out a way to do the case and get her off. So from there, we see Governor Burkhead on television, and she's denying the accusations against her as far as being involved in Nate Leahy Sr.'s murder. She's just trying to play it off like she can't throw Nate under the bus because then she would look like an ass. So she's just saying like, oh, Nate blames me and everything, but there's like many ways of dealing with grief and whatnot, and this is just him dealing with his grief and all that. I don't even think that he's really in it for the money, and she's just trying to play that like she's really sympathetic to it. I'm like, bitch, no, you and Jorge little son Xavier, y'all did that shit. You did that shit. So fuck you. But anyway, yeah. So from there, it goes to, what did I say? The Keating Five. They're in the house and they're just talking about finals and they need to get rid of it. Do you think Annalise will really fail us? I'm like, I know if I was sitting there with a teacher and kill her husband and then help cover it up and help cover up several murders, she better not fail me. I'm just saying. But anyway, whatever, y'all. So this is like, do y'all really think that Annalise would do that? Like, see you next year because you don't fail. But anyway, because they in their last year, y'all, and they about to be done. So from there, Bonnie is driving and she's pulling up into the parking lot going, I don't know where she's going. But Annalise rose up on her too. And she was like, aren't you, like, what are you doing? Aren't you afraid? Like, you need to be, she's just warning her about how powerful the Castillos are. And like, girl, you don't want that type of smoke. Emmett is dead. Do you not know they just killed this man? That's a white man. And they just killed him like it was nothing. And then nobody asked no questions. Like, you don't want that kind of smoke, Bonnie. Like, you don't. And then Bonnie's like, when did you get so afraid? What happened to you in rehab? Like, why are you like this? Why are you being like this? You taught me to be strong. You always said that you wanted me to stand up for myself and all this. But she was like, yeah, I did teach you that, but this is not your fight. Why are you going so hard and being so adamant about this? And I'm like, Annalise, but Annalise is just trying to cover her own shit up. So that's why she going at Bonnie like that. Anyway. Oh, and then it pans over after they walk away and part ways. It pans over to that chick that was trying to get into Annalise's house that works for Xavier Castillo. She's watching the whole thing play out. So I'm like, oh, y'all better be careful. That bitch is probably an assassin. She's something, y'all. I don't know what she's doing, what her plays were, but she's something. So from there, it goes to Frank and Annalise trying to figure out how they can deter Bonnie or get Bonnie away from his case with Nate and trying to, just stop her from finding out that Miller, Ron wasn't the one that actually set this shit up, and it had shit to do with him. It was the Castillos and it was, the governor. But Annalise is like, I think I may have an idea. And then it goes from there and jumps. So from there, excuse me. It goes to saying with the conflict of interest as far as Bonnie being on the case, like, because Bonnie was about to be engaged to Ron and everything, and they were in a public relationship. People, not everybody knew, but it was known that they were together. So from there, I guess the idea was, or whoever for the prosecution or whatever, is to put Miller's mom on the stand. And from there, they questioned Bonnie and they were like, oh, no, they questioned Miller's mother and they were like, didn't you have a relationship with Miss Winterbottom? That name was just so funny to me. But, didn't y'all talk after Ron's death? And she was like, yes, we did. And I just really so much wanted to. I was so torn up after my son's death, and then reached, me and Bonnie, we bonded, and it was like, do you think that she cared for your son? And she was like, no, she's sick, she's a liar. So it just completely trashed, Bonnie's credibility at this point. And, Bonnie's just sitting there like, damn, this is fucked up. Because, everything was genuine, and it's just so fucked up the way it all plays out as far as Bonnie and how her thoughts on Ron and going after Ron, because she genuinely believes that at this point that Ron is the one who did this shit and he was working with the governor, because that's what Frank and Annalise, to protect her, made her believe and confirm and all that. So y'all, whew. So from there, the judge, because after all this stuff, it's just like so much of a conflict of interest. He tells Mr. Leahy, like, or Nate, you need to find another person to defend you or whatever, because it's just too much shit going on with Bonnie. So you got to find somebody else. And at that point, Tegan was peeking in anyway. And then she busted in. She was like, y'all, I mean, she didn't say y'all, but she was like, I would like to take over the case for Mr. Leahy as his acting attorney. I'm Tegan and from Kaplan and Gold and all that. And then the prosecutor, what's the prosecutor? Y'all, whoever the defense, whatever, was like, look, she's just as intertwined in all this bullshit as Miss Winterbottom. And it was like, no, she don't have no direct connection with Ron and all that stuff. So she can, and the judge ends up okaying it. So that's just pretty much what I want to go with. So from there, and then Frank gets on the horn. And he tells Annalise immediately, like, okay, Bonnie got kicked off the case. We accomplished that. But now Tegan has jumped back in and says she will come and defend. So I'm like, damn, it just won't let up, y'all. So from there, Gabriel, it jumps back to the classroom with this Snow White case. So with the Snow White case, Gabriel's idea to defend Snow White is to put her on the stand. She has a squeaky clean image. She's a pretty young white woman, and she was singing in the forest or whatever. So let's use her. But Annalise was like, no, that's not a good idea. It's always ill-advised to put the defendant on the stand, because you cannot control the narrative. And if the fucking prosecutor go after them and they break under pressure, whether they're guilty or not, or they just say some incriminating shit, you cannot control that. So Annalise is like, no, you need to find another way, because that's not it, homeboy. That's not it. So from there, we are at, it's Tegan, Bonbon, and Miller, and they're going over the strategy for the case against the governor and, the civil case for Nate Leahy Sr. Bonnie's original strategy was to go after the governor straight for the jugular, go straight for her. Tegan was like, no, That's stupid. Let's work our way up. And if we have to put her on the stand and go to her, we do that. But let's not start with that. Let's start with the guards and this and that and, whatever. And then, they just had a conflict of interest. And then Nate ends up asking, like, what about Cora? Tegan's ex-wife at this point now. What about her? You're not afraid for her life anymore. Why did you come back and accept this case? She's like, Cora's in the Middle East, so I guess she doesn't feel like Cora's life would be immediately in danger from taking this case. So now that's why she's back on board. So, okay, because y'all remember she couldn't contact Cora and hasn't heard from her, and Cora wasn't taking out phone calls, and Tegan was very nervous and scared and stuff. So and then, Frank sent her that fake shit to try to threaten her, but now she's cool with it. So from there, we see Asher and Michaela. The students are at CNG trying to work on finals and cases and all that extra shit. We see Asher and Michaela. They talking. Asher just does not let up. He just still has so much hope for him and little Miss Michaela. And Michaela is just not paying him much mind. And then Michaela is talking to Gabriel, and I guess Gabriel, Gabriel, no, she's not talking to Gabriel. She sees Gabriel talking to I think her name Peyton, another chick from class who ain't really cute like that. She had a big forehead. Her head made a little weird, but whatever. Every time you see your dude or dude that you break up with somebody, you see with somebody else, like, But I'm like, girl, she ain't nothing. And Gabriel, you can get him back just like that. So why you even mad, Michaela? Why you even mad? But anyway, so from there, Oliver pops in. He's trying to prep everybody up and make everybody feel good, be Miss Susie Sunshine. And like, look, y'all, I have everybody's what's the name? Entry essays for school, and it just talks about how Asher wanted to be like Supreme Court or some stuff, pretty much be following his father's footsteps. And he was like, who knows, I would have been that corrupt. Connor wanted to be like, saving and fighting for gay rights. Michaela wanted to be on her path to presidency and working with this person and this person in the legal system, just saying everybody's goals and aspirations or whatnot. And he's just trying to lift everybody's spirit and whatever. So from there, it goes to Annalise and Tegan, and Annalise is again just constantly warning, like, look, y'all don't want that type of smoke. Y'all need to back down from this. Y'all need to just let this go. But, like, Annalise, you ain't going to be able to stop this at this point. It's already in the works. They can't like, all right, now we just changed our mind. We won't do this no more. It's just like, that's not, you got to just come up with another plan to try to stop this, because this ain't it. That ain't it. So from there, Tegan and her have a little bit of heart to heart. She was like, she ended up opening up and saying how Jorge Castillo is who helped. She's like, my family, I lost my family in a plane crash. I'm like, damn, the whole family was on a plane. They all died. Is that how it was? That's fucked up. Oh my God. My family, we ain't never nowhere all at the same time. We don't like each other enough for that shit to even happen. But anyway, it's about me. But anyway, so she's just saying Jorge helps her through that whole process and everything. And she was like, I don't want to. And then Annalise was like, you got to open up to me. Don't be, all my dirt and my shit, girl. Like, keep going and telling me what's going on with you and everything. But, so they had a little heart to heart. And then, she was talking about, after they had their little sister soul moment, she was like, girl, she's like, oh, are you jealous? Because she was like asking Annalise, like, why are you being like this and all that, whatever. But she's like, oh, are you like a little bit jealous because I'm on the case and everything and I'm working with Nate and everything? And then she's like, girl, no, I ain't jealous. Like, I'm about to go out with my, go for my date. Now, who's jealous now? So then, she's still going on her little dinner dates with Roberto. No, I'm just like Robert. And doing all that. And then Robert asked her, like, why aren't you like helping with this case? Because you were the one that did the whole Supreme Court thing. So you would think that you would want to rub it in and go for the governor straight to her face and, just get at her ass. But she was like, no, I don't even want to have no parts of that. He's like, oh, is it like that you don't want to have no parts of the case? Or is it you don't want to work or be so closely with your ex? And she was like, what? He was like, it's pictures of Nate everywhere, girl. I hope you expect me to look like him and all muscularized under this shirt because it's probably a dad bod under there or something. I don't know. But yeah, so she was just like, no, it's not like that. I just, try to distance myself and blah, blah. She was like, I just don't think that's the case they're going to win. He's like, from what I know about you, I don't know much, but you don't seem like a person who just gives up on a case like that or goes and enters a case or something already just with a negative, like saying that you ain't going to win it. And then that just stayed up in her little cerebral like that. So from there, hold on, y'all, I need to check this text message. Anyway, from there we see Bonnie and Frank at the house. Well, no, just Bonnie, and she said she's taking down the stuff because she's gonna send all her materials and stuff to Tegan so they can work on the case or whatnot. But she's taking down Nate Senior's picture, then she's taking down a little Ron picture. She get a little choked up and in her feelings, and then Frank walks up, and he like, it's okay, I know that you really cared about Miller. His mom, she just don't understand everything. So he hugged her and pulled her real close, like a real strong hug. I was like, that probably felt good. When a strong person hug you, like, hey. But anyway, it just seemed like it was a very comforting hug. But anyway, from there, after all that, she's like, I'm just gonna go to bed. Poor little Bonnie, y'all. Just poor little Bonnie. But anyway, I just be feeling bad for Bonnie. Like, she just got it hard. She just got it hard. And from there, Bonnie walk away, say, I'm just gonna go to bed. And he just looking all types of guilty, y'all. All kinds of guilty. And he should. And you should feel bad. Like, I know you're trying to protect her, but it's just too deep, y'all. It's just too deep. Then it jumps to court. And then Tegan is there. Oh yeah, it was mentioned earlier how the governor's car was sitting outside of Ron's house a few days before the murder happened, or whatnot. And then now they're in court, and she's trying to talk to the governor, saying, did you even know Miller, DA Miller or whatnot? And she's like, no, I didn't. She was like, oh, have you ever met him? She's like, yeah, I probably met him in passing, but I mean, a lot of people, I'm the governor. So, but we weren't cool like that. And I didn't never, she's like, did you conspire for Nate Leahy's murder? She's like, nah. She was like, I didn't know him like that, nothing like that. So from there, there was like, well, can you? Oh, then she brings up her access of her cars that, appointed cars through government appointed cars. And she was like, the car that she uses is only supposed to be for her. And that's it. And from there, she goes and Tegan goes in like, oh, well, if you're the only person that uses this one car, but she's like, I have access to other cars as well. But this one car, I'm the only person that's supposed to have access to it. From there, Tegan busts out like, well, can you explain this photo of your car parked right outside of Ron Miller's residence? And she was like, oh, I can't explain that. I don't know why that car is there. So, I mean, because at first I thought they had her car and she was in it and shit. But no, they just had a picture of her car. I'm like, well, anybody could have. Anyway, so from there, Tegan thought she was on to something. But it turns out that then like the defense was like, oh, why did you have to fire your aide, Paige Dawson or whatnot? And then she was like, oh, because she was using her car and whatnot for other things outside of work and all this other stuff she was signing. And then it's like, isn't it true that anytime she had to sign out your car, anytime she used your car, she had to sign it out? And then it all correlated with the time and day that car was sitting outside of Ron's house, because Paige was allegedly having some type of, her little boo thing lived near Ron's house, like down the street. And that's why the car was parked over there. And there was like, Tegan was like, well, in order to corroborate these stories, we need Paige to verify these things. But they were like, oh, she's out of the country. And they was like, okay, well, she's out of the country. We don't have no way. That's just hearsay. And they were like, well, we got the little boo thing. Who happens to live down the street. So we can bring him to the stand to confirm all these allegations. So it's like, okay. And then as the governor leave up off of the stand, she just walking and she look over and they're like, you thought she was noticing something. It was nothing. I'm like, ew, bitch. But anyway, from there, it goes to, but then it goes to Annalise talking about some, y'all don't understand. She will sell, the governor will sell anybody out. She will throw anybody under the fucking bus and just have a corroborating story. Like, you can fabricate a lot of shit and have people say certain things. You can buy alibis, you can buy all this stuff, and strong arm folks to say stuff. When you got to a certain point in power, you can make anything true. It don't matter if it's true for real, for real. So that's what I'm trying to tell them. So from there, they were like, okay, Annalise, did you come in here to gloat? Are you coming here to like be helpful and shit? Hold on, y'all, I'm thirsty. She was like, no, I have another way of winning this case. Y'all are going about this the wrong way. Y'all need to put Bonnie on the stand, because she was somebody who actually was close to Miller, and she was the one who found out about Miller first. So put her on the stand and have her tell her. So they was like, well, Bonnie's credibility is kind of jeopardized after Miller's mother has just threw her, under the bus and was like, she ain't shit. They were like, no, just still put her on the stand, and that would help the case and all that. Like, well, it could help or hinder the case. So from there, we jump back to the classroom. Asher is talking about with the Snow White case. Asher's talking about some have Snow White plead guilty and argue the whole male toxicity argument, which is a big word. That's like the word, excuse me, of the year. I feel like, how like was it last year? It was women empowerment. This year is like male toxicity. If I'm not saying that right, I'm on my third beer and I'm sorry. But anyway, so they say that she had that mentality that she had to get rid of the evil queen, and it was kill or be killed, and that's why she did what she did as far as getting her pushed over the cliff and all that. So from there, we see Connor and Asher at CNG, and he's sitting there looking over at Michaela and Gabriel talking, and they bumping. Oh, excuse me. Oh no, excuse me. And then she's like, oh, thank you for like sending me, I guess, some notes and stuff to help her or whatnot. She's like, I know. He was like, well, we agreed that we would exchange those things. She's like, yeah, well, we agreed that beforehand. He's like, well, I just gonna still keep my word. I ain't got nothing to do with it. We said we was gonna do it, so I did it. And then from there, he like, are you and Asher back together? She's like, no. Why would you say that? He's like, because I could feel a hole being burned through my face, because Asher showed staring real hard, and he always staring anytime she go over anywhere like within 5 feet of Gabriel. Asher, boo boo, what's for you is for you. And Michaela is just not for you. And if I feel like Michaela get with him and be with him, it's just because that's a safe comfort zone, and she just know what to expect with him, and he ain't never gonna be everything that she will. And I feel like she'll eventually cheat on him or constantly cheat on him. That's just my 2 cents on it. I'm like, girl, don't get with him just because you feel safe and he ain't going nowhere. I mean, or unless you ain't even old enough to be settling like that. I am not sweating. But you're not even old enough. You got so much more aspirations and stuff, but persistence is a motherfucker. And if he just hold on and stick with her, he's talking about he gonna be for her for life and be around. If he just stick around her through all her failed relationships, she probably be like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just get murdered then. Let's just get murdered. But anyway, let me jump back to the story and stuff. So she's like, no, we're not back together. And then Gabriel just starts going in about how she has daddy issues and how she always it's just like she's always had a boyfriend since they got there. So what's the Middleton is called? And it's like, who told you that? Whatever, the girl that Gabriel was talking. I'm like, That's the wrong thing to do. I'm sorry. It's going to be, it's just so many points in this to just kind of piss me off. Like when bitches want to talk about somebody else after you get with somebody, and they always want to talk about that person. Like, you know, that if you still got that girl's name in your mouth and trying to down her to her ex, you ain't doing nothing but putting that girl back on his mind. Why don't you just go on about the relationship? For one, you rebound chick, so it ain't gonna be about that no way. And he hurting and all that stuff. But if you constantly, because I can't stand when a bitch do that. Like you sitting there like, oh, she wasn't shit, no way. And you want to throw her under the bus and say how she trash and how she's fucking people all since she been there. But you still talking about her. So he gonna still be thinking about her. So you stupid and you setting yourself up. I've had bitches do that to me all the time. I'm like, girl, you just dumb. I don't even want him no more. But he kept calling me because talking about you done told him something, and that just puts me back on his mind, girl, because you ain't got nothing else to offer. That's pretty much it. But some gossip about me, stupidity. Boop. Anyway, girl, that's some old stuff. That's some old drama. But I just had to, excuse me, y'all. I was feeling that moment. I was like, this is so dumb. But anyway, from there, they're like, girl, this is long. Shut up and talk about what happened in the episode. So from there, he was calling on her. You know, it was just so petty. Her name, Peyton, the chick with the big forehead and oblong face that was talking about Michaela. She's like, what is this about? Whatever. We gonna jump because I ain't gonna get back on that no more. Bonnie is on the stand in court, and they are talking about like how did she find out about the whole thing with Miller and whatnot. And she says that she found out about it, but she cannot divulge who the person is who told her about it because she granted that person immunity or whatnot before she got fired from the DA's office. But before it could actually go through, she was fired. So that person is no longer, got immunity. So she can't say nothing. They was like, well, that could just be hearsay too. You could just be making all this shit up, just like you fabricated evidence with the FBI. You know how she fabricated that shit, and that's why you got fired in the first place, Miss Winterbottom. But she was like, no, I'll do you one more. Grant that person immunity, and then come back and holler at me. If you grant the person who I'm speaking of, but I don't want to put that person's life in danger, grant them immunity, and then I will answer. They can answer your questions. So that was a really good play. And then at the end, her and Tegan are like high-fiving because like that was a good play because that now that person, because she mentioned before about how that shit happened and everything. So now Annalise and shit are talking to Annalise and Frank are talking, and she was like, do you think she gonna say something? That officer, and he was like, no, she remembered me. That officer that was involved in the transporting, and then one shot Nate Leahy's senior, and the other one that white chick or whatever guard, and he was like, nah, she remembered me because he had choked her up in her car, and he was like, you gonna say that Miller did that shit, or bitch, I'm coming back. So he's like, nah, she remembered me. She gonna remember. So she ain't gonna be saying nothing else but what I tell her to say. So from there, Michaela says her argument for the Snow White trial. She says to blame the husband, and because elites, what did she say? Elites are always, they don't want to believe that a lower level person was capable of doing something. So if you blame the husband, it makes more sense to them in their brains. Because honestly, when you're trying to win a trial anyway, you're just trying to make it make sense to who you're talking to, whether or not the shit is true or not. Don't always have to be. So that was her thing, and say that the husband did it. And then Annalise shoots that down anyway. And then it jumps to Michaela's in her room, and Asher comes in. I'm like, does he like later? I know he's been crashing on the couch and shit. And he was talking about some, oh, can you give her a massage? And then she's like trying to confide in him, and he was like, are you upset? What did Gabriel say to you? And she was like, nothing or whatnot. And he was like, oh, it just makes me want to punch him in the face again. I'm like, Asher, he punched your ass in the face, and you might want to stay out this boy way before you get it again. So Asher, I know you're trying to defend Michaela, I guess to the death. Because he gonna whoop your ass. Leave that man alone. Okay. And then this is like this most silliest thing, y'all, because men sometimes cannot pick up on certain cues. And he's just sitting there talking, she's just sharing her vulnerability. Like, what if it's right that I say that I'm some feminist and all this, and I'm really, if I do like my daddy issues and I'm just really want to be with somebody and all that. And then I guess he took her vulnerability and thought that was a thing. And he goes in to kiss her. She's like, what? No, get out, go home. Cause I did the same damn thing. Get the fuck, what the hell? Like, no, I'm just trying to talk to you and confide in you, and you thinking that's the opportunity to try to get some draws. Get away from me. From there, we see Bonnie is in her car and Annalise calls her and they're talking about the case a little bit, and then they go on and she mentions how Frank told Annalise how, he wants to be with her and all that. She's like, why are you even talking to me about this and all this and blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, I'm just saying, and whatnot. And it was just like a little back and forth. But then you see, because Bonnie's just so like paying attention, looking straight forward to the road and talking to Annalise. And then all of a sudden on the side of Bonnie is that bitch that was trying to get into Annalise's house who works for Xavier Castillo. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, is he gonna shoot her? Is she gonna shoot her? What's going on? Then Bonnie's driving off and stuff. She driving, and then she try to hit her brake, and she starts fucking panicking because her brakes are cut, and that bitch cut her brakes and shit. And then she's like, Annalise, oh my god, I can't put the brakes, and she's going straight on to ongoing traffic, straight in there, and then it goes out, and I'm like, Bonnie! And then from there, when it comes back from commercial, oh, and then at the same time, we see Frank walking up on that guard while she with her son walking the dog and stuff. And I don't know if he was gonna grab her son and kidnap or push the son down and slap her. I don't know what he's gonna do. But Annalise calls right before he does anything to the guard that was involved with Nate Sr.'s stuff and tells him to fall back and don't do it at that moment. So then we see that Annalise and Frank at the hospital waiting on stuff from the news on what's happened to Bonnie. And then he like, look, just tell us. And she's like, oh, I was on the scene. The doc's like, I was on the scene when she came, Miss Winterbottom came in. He's like, look, just tell us the truth if she did or not. Don't be trying to sugarcoat shit. Just let us know what's going on with my bond. And then it goes to commercial. And then we see Connor. His argument is to say that them 7 dwarfs were grown and they had their own free will. They went on about killing the queen by themselves, and Snow White ain't had shit to do with it. And the dwarfs should pay for their crimes and not Snow White. Whatever they did was on their own accord, and that was his defense. And no, didn't go over well with Annalise. From there, Oliver and Connor comes in, and he was coming from a run, and Oliver was like, where you been? And he was like, I went for a run. What's wrong with you? Damn. He was like, with all the stuff that's going on right now, I just need you to tell me where you're going places and this and this and this. I'm like, calm down, Oliver. Damn, y'all been in worse trouble, but whatever. He was like, is this because, and he's like, honestly, I didn't contact you or say shit to you because of what you did earlier with the whole, what we were 3 years ago with our essays and who we wanted to be and all that. And that's just not me no more. And he was like, is this, and I feel like you did that because of how I told you about, my involvement with Sam's murder. And he was like, no, that's not, he's like, no, I just wanted you guys to be reminded of the people that you guys were and all this blah, blah, blah. And he was, what else did he say? They was talking about a lot of shit. He was just like, I just wanted to show you, the person that you were when you wrote that essay and how you wanted to be an advocate for little gay people and stuff, gay kids and gay people in general. I felt like I'm proud. I wanted you to show that I was proud of you. And he was like, I don't even know if I'm want to even be that anymore, a hero. And he's like, well, you don't want to work. He's like, no, I don't want to be a hero. I just want to be happy. And I want to be safe. He was like, you're not happy. And then Connor's like, nah, are you? The fuck? So from there, it jumps to Bonnie, and then we find out that Bonnie has a bone bruise, I think, on her skull, and it's so they're gonna keep her for observation and make sure she cool, and she just look a little loopy. And then Frank's in by her bed, and he's like, Bonnie, I love you, you're everything to me, my life, and all this, and blah blah blah. Frank, okay, let Laura be behind you. Like, I don't know, y'all, I don't be believing that, but I know he loved Bonnie, but it's like, I don't know, it's a little, I don't know. Anyway, from there we see Tegan and Nate, and Tegan, they leave out from out of there, and then Tegan and Nate are waiting to hear the news about Bonnie with Annalise, and they walk up on them. Frank and Annalise walk up on Tegan and Nate, and then Frank get all up in Nate's face like, this is your fault. Are you happy now? We told you, this is gonna happen. These people are dangerous. They just whooped Frank ass and he just recovered. And I didn't come after poor Bonnie and stuff. And he was like, put her in danger. I'm not gonna let you hurt her again. So, and then that clicked off a little something in Tegan's head. Hold on, y'all. I need to take my pot off the stove. I'll be right back. Sorry, I didn't want to pause that. It just took 2 seconds. But anyway, so she caught that, and then she was just like, hurt her again. Like, what the fuck? So from there, it goes to they're at court, and Tegan goes in on the officer who was involved with transporting Nate and all that. Who's the other dude? Is the other dude dead? I don't remember. The other dude that was moving Nate Leahy Sr. with her, because I'm like, where the fuck is he at? He must be dead or something. Like, where is he? So she's just going in. She's constantly like interrogating, like going hard on her. She was like, were you ordered to make sure that Nate Sr. was not to make it to his transfer and to be killed and all that? You didn't tell the truth. Look at this man. Look at him. Talking about Nate. Look at him. Look at him in the face. He lost his father. This man was finally about to get the treatment after being that he needed, mental treatment that he needed, and all this. And you you were responsible for this man's death, and blah blah blah. She's going in, and then she's like, okay. Oh, and I forgot, in the stairwell of the hospital, Frank and Annalise were talking, and she was like, I think I have another way to do this, and then or whatnot. And Frank was like, what? And then she's like, we just gonna have to do it. And Annalise is going crazy in the eye. And then it jumps. And then it jumps back to what Annalise was saying to Frank. She was like, we just gonna have to tell the truth. That's just the only way that we can get through this. Because as she was being badgered by Tegan, she's like, okay, I'm so sorry. It was ordered by Xavier Castillo. I was threatened. She was like, I know I was threatened everything, but I still had a choice, and I chose to help in this man's life. And I'm so sorry. I take whatever punishment that is going to be given on me. I'm just so sorry. So she confessed, boom, on the stand, and tells everything. And they were like, well, was Ron Miller affiliated with any of this? And then she was like, no, it didn't have shit to do with Ron. So now Ron's name is cleared and everything. And it's like, damn. Whew, I mean, the truth shall set you free. But y'all, it's intense. It's like, we're going to see how this all play out. So from there, after she done named names on Xavier, homegirl may not make it out the courtroom alive. She might just suddenly get shot and shit. So there, Nate is looking and at the testifying, the testification. I don't know, y'all, but watching the witness testify and all that, and Annalise walk her ass out. She just do the look, how you walk out of church like that. She did one of them, and then Nate turned back and he looked, because after she's leaving, and Nate, he didn't know the whole thing, but he was still hell bent on the Miller thing too. And he, before that, him and Nate was cool because Bonnie and him was cool. So now Nate is like, oh my God, did I really kill an innocent man? Because they didn't want Nate Like, it's so fucked up, y'all. It's just a fucked up situation. So from there, at the Keaton 5 house, I don't forget who brought the pup. I don't know if it was Oliver or Connor or whatever. They got a whole little cage full of puppies, I guess, to uplift everybody's spirits. And it's them just hugging like little golden retrievers, and then they just happy in his puppies, and that's it. Then it goes to deliberation, not deliberation. There, the lawyers are talking back and forth in chambers or whatever, and then he was like, okay, well, now since that homegirl admitted to the involvement and that the wrongful death and everything has been admitted, we're willing to offer you this in compensation. Turns out it is $10 million. And Nate is looking at that shit like, but he was like, and then Tegan was like, okay, well, what's the stipulations? The stipulation is you cannot go after or try to prosecute anyone else after this. Like, you can't go or try to go any further or pursue this case anymore if you accept this money, which would be pretty much covering the governor's ass. That's what that was. And Tegan, he was like, this is the largest amount we've ever offered in a wrongful death case. And she was like, let me discuss this with my client. We'll get back to y'all. Then it goes to after they leave out, it's Tegan and Nate. And then she was like, are you sure you just don't want to take this? Because if we try to pursue this, and he was like, no, I don't want to stop until the governor is named and she is held accountable for this fuckery. And she was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because if you keep pursuing this, if you had anything to do or criminal activity that had something to do with Miller's death, then that's going to end up coming out. So you might want to think wisely when it comes to this. Like, you want to just take this W and this money and let it go. But he was like, nah, I ain't about that. Okay, Nate. All right, then cool. We'll see. Then, because then it comes out on the news. There's a news broadcast, and it's telling about the whole thing and how the whole case unraveled. And Bonnie's in her hospital bed watching this, and then Frank is there, and then she was like, it was you and Annalise. Y'all made me believe that. And he was like, Bonnie, we were just trying to protect you. We just didn't want you to hurt yourself again. And then she presses the emergency button. She's like, just get out. I don't want to talk to you. Just get out. She's so hurt because, only two people she got in her life really, really betrayed her. And that's all she got. So pray for Bonnie, y'all. Just pray. Prayers for Bonnie, because we don't want her to hurt herself no more or attempt to hurt herself. Poor little Bonnie. So from there, it goes to the governor, old lying hoe ass, on TV talking about I am shocked at all of this. And I'm saying how she's cool with how Nate has finally found who's responsible for this. I'm like, bitch, she was definitely working with the Castillos. Don't act like. And then she was like, that now that this is being brought to justice, I would assume that this is, hold on, let me see this. Anyway, y'all. Yeah, so they were saying, like, she says, she feels like that since Xavier Castillo was named, that she feels like she's completely exonerated of all the charges against her. I'm like, bitch, how? That don't mean just because Xavier was named don't mean that you ain't had nothing to do with it, which you did. So, okay, girl, no. So from there, it goes, Robert calls Annalise. She was like, even though I know you said you were really helping on the case, but I feel like this had a touch of Annalise on it. So congratulations on that W, girl. Then it's Annalise sitting there staring at the TV and shit. She looked like I thought she was going to take a drink or something and fall off the wagon and whatnot. But they didn't show her doing that. Then it jumps to 3 days later. Annalise is talking to the class, and she was like, I can't believe that no one has figured this one out yet. Like the case of Snow White. She's like, nobody has offered me anything. She's like, y'all, she's like, let me give y'all a hint. And I think she says something, and then Asher hops his ass up, and he was like, yeah. I think he's like, where's the body? Exactly. And he was like, the queen did it. She faked her own death to frame Snow White so she would get prosecuted and go to jail. So that was the solution to the whole thing. And Asher's, because she's like, y'all must not want this check when before Asher solves it. It's like, well, you didn't say that was a thing. And then she was like, and then Asher solves the whole thing. Turns out the queen did it. Then it jumps. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Spit on my shirt. And then yeah, she was just trying to frame Snow White for the death and everything. Then it jumps to, remember when Solomon helped VIP or whatever through those people who help you get a new identity and all that stuff, and he helped Annalise get that stuff and got her new phone, and she chose like some name, I forgot, Juliet, I don't know, name, it's in my other video. But yeah, so then when she gets on that phone that they sent her and all her passports, it's like, are you ready to start the process? And then it goes to, she's like, yeah. And he was like, I need you to get rid of all your hard drives, do this, do that, grab them all your money and your new passports, keep it close to you, go downstairs, there's a car waiting for you, a driver's going to take you to a certain location, and all this and all that. So y'all, I knew this shit, and I said this in my other things. I was like, y'all, and then it keeps flashing to Annalise's funeral and all that stuff with her, that bogus picture. I was like, and everything, and I knew this shit. The queen faked it, and this whole time I knew, I was like, Annalise is not dead, y'all. And they talking about the blood spatter and all that. I knew it, and I called it. I knew it. And if y'all knew it too, congrats, because I did not believe Annalise was no dead. She was faking her death so she could fucking escape and flee the country. I don't know how far they're going to go into this, but I friggin' knew it. I knew it. So y'all, that was it. And How to Get Away with Murder season 6 episode, I don't know, it's going to be in the description box. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so tired. Love y'all. Thank you for watching. If you are new, hello. Please subscribe. Support your girl. Please and thank you. I will see y'all later. I'm about to eat and go to bed. I am exhausted. Love you, love you, love you. Peace. I can't even do my goodbye right. Peace. Bye.